that can give
Go ahead.
that could give you positive outlooks on things. So I've had like a bunch of guys, a bunch of men in my life that have, not only did they give me tips about, what to do as a parent. I didn't know nothing about changing diapers. I didn't know nothing about first days of school. I didn't know nothing about any of that.
Of
So
course, of course.
my daughter came along. It was just like, oh, okay. Here I am, just, I'm married. I got married first. Then I had my daughter. So I kind of did it the right way. So it's not like cliche, like, a lot of people have kids and, you're not married or whatever. I don't want my daughter to go through that. So even though me and her mom aren't together anymore, I'm still relevant in her life.
Exactly. Exactly.
Got to be relevant, because if you're not relevant, what's going to happen is she's going to start getting that fatherly influence from somewhere else. And I don't want
Exactly.
that. I don't want that. I want to get, if my daughter has a problem, I want to be able to call me, talk to me about it, so that I can give her true fatherly advice and not something that's going to be watered down.
Exactly.
This life is not watered down. It's raw and uncut.
Now that's saying a mouthful, Dante. That's saying a mouthful, right? It's exactly how it is. It hits you right between the eyes, and you.
Oh man,
Head
on.
It will knock you down. And it depends on
absolutely
if you get back up and how you get back up, whether you're going.
Absolutely.
Now, what
Absolutely.
I want to say to you, being an amateur today on this, I need for you to let's ease back into it as introducing yourself. Well, let me do it. This is Dante. We're looking at what it takes to be a parent as a father. Because I didn't have a button hit. So making sure we get all that I missed, because I'm looking how to do it. So with that being said, let's get to an adversity. I want to get right to it. Now, what you're going through, what are the ages of your fiance's kids right now? If you don't mind me asking.
Is 20, should be 26 this year. And my son will be 23. He'll be 23 in April.
Okay, now, I don't know how long you were with her doing the kids. 8 years. So they were already adults, pretty much, almost. So, were you in their life during their teenage years?
Yeah. So, when I met her, she was my stepson was just turning 15.
Okay.
I believe.
Wow, that is a tough age for a boy.
Yeah.
What was your challenges as a stepdad, and what did you do to either get your point across or appeal to his sense of, okay, right and wrong, and being able to hear you when you said something, not so much when you talked at him, but when you talked to him? How did you relate to him at the age of 15? Man, that's a hard age, man. That really is a hard age. And with a hard age comes a hard head, And between the ages of 12 and 30, we think we know it all, and he fits right in that category. But some kids are a little more receptive from, a man than others. So if you could elaborate on a few things, or one thing that you can remember, that at the age of 20 now, he might be coming back to you saying, you said, and this is how it happened, just like you said. You had incidents like that.
Well, the best way I was able to relate to him was through sports. So he's a heck of a football player.
Nice.
I mean, this kid could go. That he could do his thing. So what I started doing, he reminded me of myself at that age, because I was with my mom. He was with his mom, single mom. His dad was around, but not really relevant.
You guys can relate. You had something to relate to.
We obviously related off that, just off the top. So when I was telling them like how I grew up, there were a lot of similarities on how we both grew up. He was a football star. I was basketball. So we played on sports. So we were able to communicate on a level that was kind of even on both sides of the playing field, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And I was able to give him some advice based off of things that I went through and watching him go through what he's going through. So by me going through it already, he kind of was like kind of adapted to what I was saying, and it was like, oh, okay, I got it now. So you already been through this already. So what? How did then you start asking me questions? How did I deal with this? How did I deal with that? And only thing I could tell him was it's all about your influences. It's all about your input. Who you surround yourself with, what men are in your life. Like, and one guy that I can say in particular that was real influential to him was his coach, his football coach. This guy never said a bad word, never once, never used foul language, never talked down on anybody. He was always positive. He was always like that man you want to. Hey, I want him as my dad. You know what I mean? He was. I mean, he still is that way to this day. He is that. And so by him, around him so much, he kind of followed him through from 10th grade to like his junior year. And then when they didn't give him the job at the school he was at, he ended up going to Quartz Hill High School and started playing football here. But when he was a freshman, his sophomore year and his junior year, he was playing football under Coach Huff. Coach Huff is like a man's man. He's like a man that you can look up to, and always giving out positive energy. He's always never saying nothing negative about anyone. See, a lot of people don't understand is that small little thing right there, talking about somebody, could either have a negative effect and it could even have a catastrophic effect on somebody's outlook on things, right?
Exactly.
If you're talking about somebody, you're putting out bad vibes. You're not really doing things the way God intended for us to be.
Exactly.
That's one thing I can say about him and myself. Hey, we definitely put God first.
Yes.
Because God will guide you and put people in your life and surround you with like-minded people and people that you can learn from and grow with just by faith. So that's one major thing. Two major things actually. People you surround yourself with, and actually before that, you put God first.
Exactly.
So I would say, if I had to give any type of advice, I would say seek God, because He's going to guide you to whatever you need to hear, when you need to hear it, and how you need to hear it. He knows how to communicate better than we can.
Exactly.
So that's one major thing that I can say, that that's how we were able to relate on a personal level. And then as time grew on, we started spending more time together. I started to really have deep conversations with him about what his goals were. And I mean, a highly intelligent kid, 4.5 grade point average. It's almost a 5 point average. So I'm like,
nice.
I wasn't even that good in high school, you know what I mean? But
I wasn't even close to that. I was
a 3.6 in high school.
I was half of that. And look at me now.
Hey, get you now, brother.
Yeah.
So now. I would say that's one of the major things that was able to get across to him and relate to him that way, because I had already been through some of the things that he was already going through as a 15-year-old.
Yes. Now, one other question. I'd like for you to give us a thought on when you were a child, what did you deal with that brought you through? Meaning, those ages, that between the 12 and 30, what was your biggest challenge? Come 12 to 30, what was your biggest challenge? And how did you get
12 to 30? I would say one of my biggest challenges.
You were a kid up to an adult. So,
right.
At 12, you think the whole world is against you and everybody hates you and you're awkward and the whole bit. You know what I mean? And at 16, you definitely think your parents is the dumbest thing that ever walked the earth.
Right.
By the time you hit 30, Life 101 bricks come out of the air talking about light, gas, rent.
Right.
Then you look at your parents and go, dang, how did they do that?
Okay. So when my mom,
Oh, here's even better. Here's even better. What did you go back to your parents and say? Oh, you were right. If you had that opportunity, what would you go back to them and say? Oh, you were right, man. I should have listened.
So when I was a kid, I think we've all had it. It was like you get in trouble, you get a whooping or something. I'm gonna run away from home. I'm out of here, right? I didn't know what I was doing or what I was saying at the time, but the streets are always calling. The streets
Oh
are
yeah.
always calling.
Oh yeah.
That phone is always ringing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you answer the phone or not, hypothetically speaking, whether you
Yeah.
answer the phone or not will determine where you go because
Exactly.
ain't nothing but trouble in the streets.
Exactly.
So, but I
That's what I'm
had
trying to get you to say right there. That piece of advice. Elaborate on what's out in the street. You think you don't have it so good at home. You think home is so bad, but you think going to the streets is better. I want you to elaborate on that. You open the door. I want you going through.
so like I grew up in a bad neighborhood in Compton. I mean, terrible neighborhood.
Done that. Been there, done
I,
that.
influences, negative influence. My cousin was selling drugs down the street. There was gangs all around me. And I was a target because
Mm-hmm.
I was young, because I was feeble-minded, because I didn't know nothing. I thought I did until my mom put her foot up my behind and said, you know what? I'm not giving you to those streets. So I said, well, what's so bad about the streets? She started breaking it down. She started telling me, you don't want to be, doing this, that, and the third. And then, excuse me, then I started seeing it for myself. I started watching my friend go in and out of jail. I started watching my friend getting shot at. I started watching my friend getting arrested from selling drugs. And what I did was I picked up a basketball. I picked up a basketball and I found an outlet from all that negativity. So that what my biggest challenge was staying focused because when you not focused on what your goals are, like I said, the streets are always calling. Negativity is always pulling at you. Whenever you try to do something positive, you take one step forward, negativity will take you 5 steps backwards. The devil is always on your back. He was
Exactly.
always on. He wants you to do what he wants you to do. But like I said before, seek God first.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in church.
Mm-hmm.
My great grandparents founded the church. My
Mm-hmm.
mom didn't let me. She didn't give me to the street. She kept her foot on my neck. I got disciplined when I got disciplined, and at the time I didn't understand it. But when I became a parent and watching my daughter go through what she was going through, and then I gotta spank her behind. Now I'm like, you know what? I went back to my mom and said, you know, mom, you were right. You were absolutely right because
Now you
I
hit
always
it on the head. There it is.
always heard you spare the rod, spoil the child. I
Exactly.
didn't spare the rod. I spanked her a little behind. It didn't take. She didn't get beat a lot. I think she may have gotten maybe 3 whoopings in her whole little childhood, but she learned from it.
There you go. That's
She
what
learned.
I'm trying to get. See, you see how that uh women don't crap out about
Mm,
instructions and it's on the job training.
right.
See, that's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
There are no instructions with this.
Child experts and all that. It's just
Right.
that's a hard pill to swallow for me. I
It
can't
is.
I can't condone that. But I do want to say is that uh I'm very impressed and I'm very proud of you because you took the time with your kids. Okay.
Thank
You were there for them, and there's no day no one can take that from you.
you.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Now, I'm gonna slowly end this. What I want to say to you, or another favor.
Sure.
If I'm talking about a 20-year-old, same thing I
Mm-hmm.
did with my last client, a 20
Mm-hmm.
between the age of 20 and 30, what would you think? What would you give? What kind of advice would you give 20-year-old right now living in this world? What kind of advice what would you what would you warn them against? What would you say, hey, don't take this route or this route? What would you suggest?
What I would suggest mainly is find something that you absolutely love,
Mm-hmm.
that it won't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
Find something that you absolutely adore and cannot live without.
Exactly.
And go at it 150,000%.
Exactly.
Put all your eggs in one basket
And go.
and just go. Because when you focus on something, nothing's going to derail you. Because, like I
Amen.
said before, a lot of times when you got a goal, or you're not focused, you don't have any goals, then that's when all the outside influences can hurt you. But when
Exactly.
you focus on a goal, like with
Mm-hmm.
me, with this whole construction thing, when I first got into construction, I didn't know what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I wanted to do with it, but I didn't know how hard it was. So what I did was
Exactly.
I set a goal for myself. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
on stage 6 of my 8-stage plan. Once I get to journeyman status, I'm gonna step over to the that'll be stage 7 is complete. Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go into stage 8, which is the inspection side of things. But I'll have my experience in, and all those
Exactly.
all things will fall into place. But
But you gotta focus though, man. You
exactly, you have to focus. You have to
exactly
focus.
what you're
You have to
saying.
set a plan. You had to set a plan. You had to set goals for yourself. Because if someone would have told me this years ago, I'd be so far ahead in life right now. It
Exactly.
wouldn't be
I
funny.
know what you mean. I
It
know
would not
I come up
be
in that
funny,
same, I come up that same way.
man. And and now I'm understanding how important goals are.
Exactly.
Goals are very important. So
Oh,
as
yeah.
a
It
young
keeps
person,
it keeps you motivated. It
oh
keeps
yeah,
you going. It keeps you going. That's the whole
right.
process. To have
And
got to have a why. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Have a
and
why.
it's also a mental thing.
Yes,
So
it is.
like what I do is of course everyone has big goals, right?
Yes.
But you're not going to just wake up tomorrow and, okay, I accomplished my big goal. It
Mhm.
doesn't work like that.
No, it
You
don't.
have
It don't.
small goals that you achieve every day, so you get used to achieving goals. It
Exactly.
becomes second nature at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
by doing so, now you're like, oh, you know what? I've already hit my weekly goal. I hit my daily goal, my weekly goal, monthly goal. And now I'm like, okay. Before you know it, 2 years have passed by, and you already got closer to your steps of where you want to be in life.
Exactly.
But you gotta stay focused. You gotta stay focused on it.
Exactly.
But
Well,
what you're focusing on also makes a difference.
that's that's true too. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I would like to call you or call on you again for a different
Absolutely.
segment in regards to I don't know your age bracket as of yet, but we'll discuss that. I want to know what's the difference in priorities that you had 10 years ago opposed to what you got now. So that's something to think
Ooh.
about. Yeah. Really, your priorities should change every 10 years of your life. Sometime every year. It just depends on where you're at in life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't seem to realize that.
They
But
don't.
it is what it is. Just like the people, this is 2023, still walking around in their 1970 clothes or,
Right.
still doing the
Right.
same thing. So,
Right.
like I said, that's a video for another time, an interview for another time. But I'm looking forward to calling on you numerous of times because you're a highly intelligent, highly motivated, and I like my listeners to hear your wisdom. Believe me,
Absolutely.
we have wisdom. Other people don't think we do, but we do have wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't
Absolutely.
call it nothing but common sense, that's exactly that's one of the best wisdoms to ever have.
Yeah, but nowadays common sense is not so common.
And it don't come to some people's neighborhood too. So
It's
enjoy
not.
the rest of your weekend and thank you for
Yes,
your
sir.
time. I greatly appreciate it.
Hey,
So,
thanks for having me on. This
oh
was
yeah,
awesome.
I'm looking for, hey, and bring your wisdom right along with you. It's more than welcome here.
We'll do. We'll do, my brother.
All righty.
All right. Talk to you later.